Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, Tell Eleazar the son of Aaron the priest to pick up the censers out of the blaze, for they are holy, and scatter the fire some distance away. The censers of these men who sinned against their own souls, let them be made into hammered plates as a covering for the altar, because they presented them before the Lord, therefore they are holy, and they shall be a sign to the children of Israel. So Eleazar the priest took the bronze censers which those who were burned up had presented, and they were hammered out as coverings on the altar, to be a memorial to the children of Israel, that no outsider who is not a descendant of Aaron should come near to the offer incense before the Lord, that he might not become like Korah and his companions, just as the Lord had said to him through Moses.
Amen. So that is interesting. Like I say, we talked about that at midrash. What's different is what you have here is holy items in the hands of sinful men. Okay? And so the holy items did not cease to be holy because they were already set apart for the service of the tabernacle. They had been anointed. They had been set apart already. And so even though they used them wrong, they couldn't be thrown away. Notice the fire, though. The fire was a type of strange fire, uncalled for fire. Had them scatter that away. Okay, get that outside. Go scatter that somewhere else. Get that away. But bring those censers, which are actually, they look more like little shovels. Bring those and flatten them out. And it's very interesting, the language there when you was reading that. It says in 38, the censers of these men who sinned against their own souls. You know, we think we're sinning against God. Sometimes we're sinning against our own self. You know, who are we hurting when we sin? I mean, I acknowledge that, you know, God's not pleased with it, but the curses, we're bringing them on ourselves. Go ahead.
I've done some studying about this too, and I've researched it, and I've seen other teachers talk about it as well, that once something becomes Kadesh, becomes set apart, whether it's an earthen vessel or something that can be cleansed by fire or has to be broken, but once it's Kadesh, once it's holy, it can never be part of the common ever again.
Yeah, once it's set
and I
apart.
wonder how many people ever stop to ponder the realization that once they come to the knowledge of God and His Torah, and they desire to be baptized, to become set apart, if they remember that, and that this body of theirs, this vessel, that once set apart, cannot go back to the common without being broken or damaged.
Yeah.
And
they have to be cleansed. It's interesting along that same line. If you look at the physical here, the fire came out with these 250 men with these censers, these fire pans, and what does it? It's the metal fire pan. So what is it? It cleanses the metal fire, and so he consumes the men, cleanses the fire pans, the censers. I won't call them fire pans because that's what they are, and cleanses the censers by fire, and says, now, you can't use them for that. They can't go in the holy place, but put them on the altar in hammered plates in 38, because they were presented before Yahweh, and they shall be a sign for the children of Israel. So they took these copper censers, which is what they are, and put them on the altar to be, verse 40, to be a memorial to the children of Israel. Okay, it's actually I'm trying to look at the word, a reminder that no outsider. So this isn't an outsider, by the way, who's like somebody who's not part of the tribe of Israel. This is outsiders within the tribe of Israel, that this is not your job. Okay, you're not a descendant of Aaron. But it also is very interesting that it reminds us of our rebellious nature, because this copper is polished. And so as you approach the altar with your offering, who do you see? You. You know, you see you and your, if nothing else, you see you and your offering coming up, you and your lamb, you're leading up there and going, oh wow, yeah, this is me.